So in this video, I'm going to show you how I'm running a boutique investment bank that's called Cadenwood Capital, and I'm going to show you how this bank is going to make me a billionaire in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, my model is exactly what Steve Schwarzman used to build Blackstone, except there's one critical difference. We've built everything and automated everything using AI. So how does the business model work? We charge clients $25,000 to $100,000 upfront as an engagement fee for our advisory services, but the engagement fees, they really just cover off on all of the operational expenses, paying all the individuals, paying for the tech stack, etc. The real money is made in the success fees. So imagine this, you bring on a client, they're raising $10 million and you charge them 5%. That 5% of a $10 million deal is $500,000. Now think of a $100 million deal with a commitment at 5 points. That's $5 million in fees. Now, most firms need 4 analysts for every managing director. Now, you can think of the analysts like administrators. They're in the background, they're building decks, they're creating financial models, and the managing directors, they're the sales guys. They're the ones that bring the business in, and they're the ones that actually sell the deal. But we flipped the script on that entirely. At Cadenwood, we only need 1 analyst for every 4 managing directors. Why? Because our AI model finds investors, the perfect investors, writes customized emails based on their exact mandates and buy boxes that we've already curated and put into our database, and shows them exactly why our deals are a perfect fit for their firm. And because of this, our hit rate is absolutely through the roof comparative to traditional firms. And here's where it gets interesting. I'm not just running Cadenwood Capital. I'm building Dealmaker, which is my education company, and transforming it from an education company into a syndication network, where every single member of the platform becomes a node in the system. Now, there's other platforms out there that only have data, and they're worth $400 million. There's other ones that are worth a few $100 million. There's ones that are owned by BlackRock, and they only focus on data. Well, my plan is, and I'm gonna share more about this with you in a second, is to create a platform that doesn't just have the data. It has the AI, and it has the syndication abilities. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I'm using all of this to become a billionaire in a very short amount of time, only having 2 years experience in the financial space. So you can not only copy me, take the ideas, take the insights and principles to apply to your own business, but also if you're looking to start your own capital advisory firm, you can use this model as a template. So the very first phase of my plan is to automate my advisory business to generate anywhere from 8 to 9 figures annually. But then we're going to transition the advisory business into an actual fund. So we have the advisory and the fund component, private equity, VC, merchant banking, which we're already doing right now. And that's exactly what Steve Schwarzman did when he built Blackstone. He didn't just start off as a private equity fund. He started off as an advisory business. Now I've created another video where I break down meticulously how I extracted all the principles from Steve Schwarzman and the Blackstone model and applied that not only to Cadenwood, but also to the education company Dealmaker, which is exactly how we're showing students to close multiple 8-figure deals, $100 million deals, etc. And in the second phase of my plan is where we actually build out that syndication platform, where we create the SaaS and we absolutely dominate the entire financial services space, because everyone else is just relying on their network or simple databases, and no one has come out and created an AI syndication platform that combines all of this together. And that's exactly what I'm going to deliver on with Dealmaker. So at the time of recording this, we're only going to accept another 20 to 25 students into the actual education platform before completely shutting the doors on it to focus entirely on the SaaS platform, which will be the first exit in my career and will likely make me a billionaire in the next 3 to 5 years. So this is my exact plan. This is my playbook. This is what I've deduced from years of study, years being in the trenches as an entrepreneur, and being able to make a massive dent in the financial space after only spending a few years in it by creating a broker-dealer and an investment bank, doing $100 million in deals and transactions, and teaching other people how to do the exact same thing. So the reason why I'm making this video is to show you my plan, my thought process, so you can actually take the principles and apply it to your own life and your own business. So without further ado, let's dive into everything. So the first phase in my plan is building out Cadenwood to be a top tier boutique investment bank. So how are we gonna do this? Well, the first thing that we've done is we've focused on creating an incredibly strong team. So like Steve Schwartzman, I partnered up with my mentor when I started Cadenwood, and we only started it a year ago. And in this time frame, we've been able to create a massive amount of impact within the space. Why? Because I've taken all of my marketing capabilities and imbued those with AI in addition to all the experience of the folks that we have on our team. And back in January of this year, 2025, I started the process of buying a broker dealer. So if you go onto BrokerCheck right now, you can search up Cadenwood Capital. We are a fully fledged broker dealer out of New York. And the company that I ended up buying the broker dealer from was a healthcare boutique investment bank. It was a broker dealer from a healthcare company. And because of that, we inherited all the managing directors from that broker dealer. So we have a few core focuses at Cadenwood. The first is oil and gas, because my mentor was an oil and gas banker for 40 years in Canada, and he essentially spent his time between Alberta in Canada and Texas in the United States. He's done billions of dollars in transactions, including a $3 billion spin-off fund for BlackRock while he was at another firm. And over and above that, all of the guys on our team, besides myself, excluding the analysts, they all have 20, 25 years plus in the industry. So that's the very first thing that we're doing, is creating an incredibly strong team. And that's exactly what I teach all of my students to do, is first start with your advisors, because that is the bedrock. That is the foundation upon which you're able to build your firm. So the next piece, which I've already kind of touched on, is focusing your efforts on specific industries. So at Cadenwood, we have a few core focus areas. First is oil and gas because of my mentor. The second is healthcare. The third is real estate. So those are really the three spaces that we try to hone in on. And you notice how I've directed the spaces that we go into based off the experience and track records of the people that I've already brought onto my team. So what we do is we go out into the marketplace and we find companies using my marketing capabilities that are looking to either raise money or sell their company. So the raising money piece would be quantified as capital markets advisory, and the selling the company piece would be quantified as M&A. Now, what we do is we engage the company, or the issuer, as the company is referred to in this case, and we say, we are going to help you either raise that money or sell your company. And in order to do this, we're going to charge you anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000 upfront as a work fee. Now, obviously, that range depends on the level of effort and the level of sophistication and complexity of what that transaction will entail. In addition to how many people we're gonna have to put on the team, if we have to build out their data room, their deck, their financial models, create the story, etc. And on the low end, if all we're doing is providing capital introductions, we'll only charge $25,000. Now, what we do at Cadenwood is we get very hyper-focused. We only bring on issuers that we have a very high degree of confidence that we're going to be able to actually close. And we use 4 key criteria to identify whether it's a company that we're going to be able to get the job done with. The first one is the stage of commercialization the company's in. The second piece is what the track record is of the management team that's on the company. The third is the differentiation of the model. And the fourth is how repeatable is their business model. And all of that criteria is used in an algorithm to come up with a score. And depending on that score, we will make a determination whether we bring that company on. And because of this, we really only bring on 3 to 4 issuers or clients every month, because where the model really starts to make sense is in the back end, on the success fees. So in addition to that $25,000 to $100,000 that we charge the client, we're also gonna charge them anywhere from 2% if it's a debt deal, all the way up to 10% in some instances for equity raises. And when we go out to the market and we find companies that need to raise $100 million and we charge them 5 points, well, that's $5 million for the firm. After all the expenses, all the management teams have been paid out, all of the software stack has been paid, that's essentially $5 million in profit that all the partners in the firm get to share. So that's why we focus on being very, very honed in on the issuers and clients that we bring on, because the model really makes sense when you start getting those back-end transactions done. Now, if you want to learn a little bit about the transactions that we've done, you can go to the Cadenwood website. You can see some of the tombstones. You can see some of the live transactions that we're working on right now. And this whole piece that we're talking about right now is just the advisory business. Remember when I stated at the beginning, this is the first step in the first phase. The second phase is where the whole team transitions from being an advisory business, where we build out all of the systems, all of the protocols, so we can bring people in, get them on salaries, have that whole thing running as an absolutely well-oiled machine, and then all of the partners go and focus on raising a fund. Now, if you remember, I said that one of our focus areas is real estate, and some of the folks on our team have already been general partners at real estate funds. So we will most likely go out and raise a fund for a niche in real estate. And that is where this entire model changes. But that's really only the first step in this entire plan to become a billionaire, because I'm not gonna exit an investment bank. That's not what's gonna happen. I can become a billionaire by, exiting my GP stake in the private equity fund or in the VC fund that we have. Generally, the life of a private equity fund is about 5 years. I don't wanna wait that long. I'm all about hyper efficiency. How can we condense something that seems insurmountable to most people into a very short amount of time? Now, there's other people in the world that dream and view things at this scale. And that's what I try to emulate, not only with guys like Steve Schwartzman that I've created that video on and how I built this entire model piece by piece, put it all together and package it up into something that actually can be shared with people. And again, that video is down below. You can click the link to watch that after you're done with this one. So if we're dealing with hyper efficiency and condensing time frames into a very, very short amount of time, going through a crucible of intense perturbation where you go through an experience where you literally become a new being through the new levels of stress, the new stress thresholds that you achieve, and also all of the experience and knowledge that you soak in, where you enter into this pocket and only a few months go by, but it feels like it's been years. And you look back, it feels like it went by like that. But when you're in it, it feels like it's so long. And that's what we're trying to do here. And that takes us to the next phase. So I already touched on how we are systemizing and protocoling everything in Cadenwood, not just for Cadenwood, but also the students at Dealmaker. And at Dealmaker, in its current form, is an education company. We are showing other people how to use the systems and protocols that we use at Cadenwood to either start their own investment bank, boutique investment bank, capital advisory firm, whatever you want to call it, or guys that are already in the industry, investment bankers that are working at other firms, managing directors, or guys that are starting or building their own shop, and they're using our systems and marketing capabilities to really put gas on the fire in their operation. But the value in this entire operation is actually in the network effect. Because what I found is when you put 100 people into a group and everyone is doing deals, naturally everyone starts to syndicate. They will have relationships that match up with deals and vice versa. So that is the reason why I am focusing on transitioning Dealmaker to a SaaS platform. So there's other platforms out there, other databases that only consist of data. Some of them are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but they only have the data piece. Now, what if you had the data piece in addition to the syndication network, in addition to AI, and in addition to all the systems and protocols that deal makers can use to get deals done in a very short amount of time, comparative to what the industry average is? Well, when you put all of that together, that's exactly what the vision for the Dealmaker SaaS is. And that is what my plan is to become a billionaire. I can build this SaaS platform combining all of the data, all of the relationships, not only the ones that we have at Cadenwood, not only the ones that we have from all of the people within our company and platform, but also everyone in Dealmaker. In addition to creating a database by crawling the internet, using AI, finding all of the mandates, all of the deals that these guys are actually looking for, and putting all of that together in one platform, in addition to the ability to send correspondence to these people and matching all of that up into one cohesive platform. Now, when you have that node effect, there's a force multiplier that occurs in the valuation of the company. And that's the reason why I'm not crazy to think I can exit this for a few $1 billion in just a few short years. Because when you think about what I've been able to do in this space and then correlate that into the tech space, I really think that taking all of this knowledge, all of the unique insights that I've been able to find by coming from a marketing background, understanding tech, and then parlaying that into the financial space. I really think this is going to be a formidable platform that will completely transform the entire financial services industry. And what am I going to do after that? Well, I've got Cadenwood, I've got the private equity firm, I've got the venture capital firm, and I will continue doing that literally until the day I die, because I have a mission that is much greater than myself. And all of these things that I'm doing are just simple stepping stones into my grander vision. And what's beautiful about this industry is the fact that you can view it like a sport, except it's a sport of the mind. And it's a sport that you can play literally until the day that you die, because there's always a bigger deal to find. There's always another challenge to overcome. So that's my plan to becoming a billionaire in the next 3 to 5 years. Like I said, I've made a video that breaks down this entire playbook, the one that I essentially stole from Steve Schwartzman at Blackstone, and I put that into a protocol, into a video that you can watch, and you can take those principles and apply it to your own business, your own capital advisory firm, your own marketing agency, whatever it may be that you're doing right now. I'm Louis Garros. Thank you very much for watching.